The Chicago Business Barometer increased 7.5 points to 56.2 in October, led by strong gains in both production and new orders. The sharp increase pushed the barometer to the highest since January and marks a promising start to the fourth quarter, following the small gains made in Q3. Production and new orders rose sharply in October, leaving both at the highest since the start of the year, with nearly a 20-point surge in production. Firms also reported significant growth in inventories, which accounted for part of the leap in output in October. In response to a special question, panelists were optimistic that orders would remain firm, with 36.4% saying that they thought that new orders would increase from Q3 to Q4. On the other hand, 25.5% thought that new orders would be lower, while 38.2% predicted that new orders would remain unchanged. This suggests that most of the recent increased pace in stock building is more likely planned than unplanned. While the pace of production is not too far off from the 2014 average, the barometer has been held back by much weaker readings in other components. Order backlogs, employment, and supplier deliveries all declined between September and October. Backlogs have been lean throughout 2015, and they dropped further below the 50 neutral level in October, thanks to continued firm output and sufficient inventories. This lack of unfilled orders raises concerns that companies are less vulnerable to shocks in demand. Employment fell back to just above 50 in October, with demand for labor down significantly from 2014 levels. Some comments continued to point to issues with sourcing qualified workers. Meanwhile, contrary to the firm tone in output and new orders, supplier delivery times eased a little above 50. But this has been the case for months. An overwhelming majority reported that lead times were the same month over month. Lower commodity prices meant that deflationary pressures remained in October. Prices paid increased slightly, however, remained in contraction for the third month in a row. Overall, the October edition of the Chicago Business Barometer marks a good start to Q4, and if maintained, it suggests an acceleration in economic activity as we move into year-end.